Most people pray to a distant God, somewhere above the clouds, hoping he might hear, might answer, might fix what hurts. But what if everything you were taught about prayer is upside down? What if the God you read chasing in the sky is the very life that's breathing you right now? Joel Goldsmith stumbled into this truth the hard way. When the old prayers failed and the formulas stopped working, something opened in him. He realized God is not a separate being who sometimes shows up if you're good enough. God is the consciousness itself, the awareness looking through your eyes, the presence animating your heart. And when that landed, his life transformed. He didn't become a rebel against God. He became a healer, through God recognized as his very self. Goldsmith saw that the divine doesn't operate in the human game of reward and punishment, good and evil, worthy and unworthy. Consciousness simply is, whole, complete, perfect in essence, and when you recognize this, life begins to align with it. Illness, scarcity, conflict, these don't live in spiritual reality. They live in mental concepts. And the moment you stop feeding those concepts with fear and begin resting in the truth of your being, change happens without strain. He proved it in the most practical ways. Imagine a soldier during wartime, broken by an illness no medicine can touch. Instead of begging a faraway deity for a miracle, Goldsmith sat in quiet recognition. Divine consciousness cannot be diseased. Health is the natural expression of what God is. In that atmosphere of stillness, the appearance of illness lost authority, and recovery followed. He watched the same law unfold in finances. A man facing ruin didn't fix his life by forcing outcomes or affirming wealth 1,000 times. He learned to rest in the fact that abundance isn't outside trying to get in. Abundance is consciousness expressing as supply right where you stand. When the fear loosened, ideas appeared, doors opened, partnerships formed, and the tide turned. Effort aligned with grace instead of wrestling against it. Here's the pivot. Consciousness and experience are not two. They are one movement. What appears in your world mirrors the level from which you live. When you identify as a struggling person trying to reach God, you keep creating distance. When you recognize that your true identity is divine awareness expressing as you, that distance collapses. Healing, peace, and right action begin to flow as a natural consequence of being who you are. This is why Goldsmith's essential practice was not asking. It was listening. Spiritual listening. Before the mind launches its plans, sit in silence. Not to force an answer, not to chase a voice, but to let consciousness reveal its own perfect activity. Stay receptive. Let thoughts pass like birds across a wide sky. In that quiet, guidance emerges, timing improves, and you begin to sense a wiser rhythm carrying your day. Decisions feel clear. Effort stops grinding and starts gliding. Relationships change from the inside out. Instead of wrestling another person's behavior, recognize their true nature the way you recognize your own. Divine consciousness, expressing as individuality. You don't become passive or permissive. You become anchored. From that anchored place, you respond rather than react, and the field of conflict loses oxygen. Often what needed fixing dissolves when you stop trying to fix it and start beholding the truth behind it. This recognition touches parenting, career, and even the way we see aging. Career no longer becomes a climb fueled by anxiety. It becomes an arena where consciousness expresses through your skills, service, and creativity. You still learn, practice, and deliver excellence. Only now the doing flows from being, not from fear of not being enough. In parenting, you stop trying to manufacture perfect children and begin honoring complete spiritual beings who are discovering how to live their completeness. Correction becomes guidance, not control. Love becomes recognition, not anxiety. Aging, seen through this lens, is not deterioration to fear, but a costume change in time. The essence, consciousness itself, doesn't age. The body may show seasons, but the life that animates it is seasonless. When you identify with that life, vitality and clarity have room to reappear, and even when the body changes, your peace doesn't. Even death loses its terror. If consciousness is your essence, what we call death is the dissolving of concepts, not the end of life. Goldsmith faced these passages with quiet certainty because he no longer confused the costume with the actor. Grief can still be tender and real, but the panic falls away when you know life cannot be separated from itself. What about the world's turmoil, war, injustice, environmental crisis? Consciousness recognition isn't withdrawal from responsibility. It's the ground for effective action. When you act from outrage alone, you often intensify division. When you act from recognition, your presence carries coherence. Your work, whether quiet or public, has a healing quality because it is not fueled by hatred of an enemy, but by alignment with what is true and whole. Goldsmith taught that even a few who live from this recognition contribute a stabilizing spiritual influence far beyond their visible reach. Can this be taught by argument? Not really. You can point, you can share, but recognition is personal and direct. Don't try to convert anyone. Live the truth and let your atmosphere speak. When people are ready, they will feel it. The silent knowing in you will awaken the silent knowing in them. So here is the invitation. Stop looking for God as though God were missing. Stop bargaining with a distant ruler. Sit, listen, and recognize. Feel the quiet fact that the awareness hearing these words is not merely yours. It is the divine life itself, expressing as you. Let that recognition be the center of your prayer, the ground of your action, the light of your relationships, the peace of your nights, and the courage of your days. When fear arises, don't fight it. Turn again to recognition. When lack whispers, turn again. When conflict flares, turn again. Each turning weakens the old story and strengthens your native clarity. Over time, you'll notice that the outer world begins to match the inner truth you keep choosing. This isn't the end of seeking, it's the beginning of real living. Every day becomes practice, simple, steady, sincere. You listen, you recognize, you move as you are moved, and life, relieved of your struggle, starts to reveal its effortless intelligence through you. If this opened something in you, like this video so others can find it, and subscribe for more teachings from Joel Goldsmith and timeless philosophy. Drop a comment. I am awakening, to mark the moment you stopped searching outside and started recognizing the truth within.